Anybody have? Oh, I was gonna say, did anybody have an outage with their Wi-Fi this morning?
No,
No?
I'm fine, thank
Nope.
you.
No? All right.
It's Rabbi Furst, and it's Pierke Avos, Gates of Repentance.
Right. Good morning. All right. Good morning. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here in Shiva Samanavshi, Yerushalayim, here of Zoom. This is our first year we're learning in Sefer Bnei Yonah, Shai Tshuva. We're in the first shar in the 10th paragraph there, and we're at in your English edition, if you have it, the same as I do. It's the very last line on page 12. It starts with let's start with he's explaining about the necessity and the importance and significance of charata, regret, remorse over the bad and wrong things a person has done, which is essential to doing tshuva. So he's trying to focus our attention on what's actually wrong with doing an avera, a sin. So if you look there at the last word on the second to the last line, it says "v'ra mizois." You have it there.
Yeah,
And Roy, are you using the same edition as we are, or you have a different edition?
Yeah, I've got the same edition.
Okay,
Yeah.
very good. So the last word on the second to the last line on page 12, "v'ra mizos." There's even something more bad about it, about having sinned, even than what he's discussed previously. So what is that? Let's see what he has to say about that.
V'ra mizos ki hayisi al hanefesh haykara achzari v'nitma'a v'gilulei. So the bad thing about this is that when concerning a person, the main thing, achzari venit ma'a, I have his cruelty is fulfilled.
Well, okay, let's see it like this. It says, "V'ra mizos." There's even something more terrible than what we've been discussing. Why? Ki hayisi al nefesh hayikara. I've been, since I have been al nefesh to my yakara, my precious soul. Yakar is like something which is yakar, right? Something which is yakar is precious. Nefesh hayakara. I have been akzari. I have been cruel to my precious soul. Kadosh Baruch Hu has created us with a pure neshama. That's a chelik is in spiritual terms of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, and we've by transgressing the laws of a Kadosh Baruch Hu, we profane it and we sully it, and as we'll discuss in a moment, and we're cruel to it. That's the importance of saying with the first three brachas we say in the morning. We get up, we say the bracha al natilas, you wash your hands, and you say bracha al natilas yadayim, and then you say the bracha ayashar, which is thanks and praise to Kadosh Baruch for creating us in the physical body and giving us physical existence. And then we say right after that little kind neshama, that bracha is praise and thanksgiving to Kadosh Baruch Hu for creating us with the neshama. We're not simply just a goof without a spiritual aspect to it. We have the human body has the core of spirituality which rests within it. It's Elohim Elokim, which is the neshama. And so in that bracha we say Elokai neshama shenasar tabi tahoriki. That neshama that Hashem has placed within us is pure, tahora, right? Kadosh Baruch Hu, Ata Varasa, you have created it, Ata Yitzarta, you have formed it, right? Ata Nafachta Bi, you have blown it within me, right? Ata Mishamra Bikirbi, and Kadosh Baruch Hu keeps it there, he watches over it there, right? And so those things that we mentioned in that bracha of Elokai Neshama, right? Those things are in a real obligation for us to maintain the purity of the neshama, and primarily we do that by following the commands of the Kadosh Baruch Hu and not transgressing them, because every transgression is a blemish on the neshama, so it becomes less and less pure according to the amount of disobedience that a person exhibits against the will of Kadosh Baruch Hu. So that's what he's mentioning here, that the part of the regret that a person is supposed to feel over having done an Aveira is that he's been cruel to his neshama. Hashem has given him a pure neshama, and now he, through his sins, his disloyalty, disobedience, he has now caused it to be blemished. Okay, let's continue.
Venit ma'a begilulei, and I have fulfilled Yitzri. I have fulfilled in this life my desire.
Well, nitma here means he has defiled it from tuma, right? The nitma, he has defiled the pure neshama, the gigulei yitzri, with the activities of his Yetzer Hara, right? Through following the Yetzer Hara, he has defiled the purity of the neshama.
Yitziri is the Yetzer Hara?
Yeah, Yitzri from Yetzer, my Yetzer, his Yetzer Hara.
Okay, so I have defiled with my activity. I have been defiled by my Yetzer Hara through my activity.
Right, he is defiled in the neshama. Also the goof, it affects the goof as well. But here's just focusing on the neshama right now.
Right. Okay. Uma ha ho'ila b'chol kinyaniha im ra'a be'enei adoneha. And what benefit is there in all of my acquisitions if they're evil in my eyes?
Right. Not my eyes, but the Einei Adonai, in the eyes of its creator, of its master. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu has given us the neshama, and what we've done is we've been led astray by the Yetzer Hara, and we've been gotten involved with all the different activities that the Yetzer Hara convinced us to do, ostensibly for our benefit, but in fact, it's only leading to a further defilement of the holy neshama. And what benefit can we say that all these things give us if these things that we've been involved with and are bringing defilement to the pure neshama, they are all not at all pleasing in the eyes of the Kadosh Baruch Hu, who gave us the neshama.
The lafti ba'olam cholef olam omeid la'ad le'olam. And how can I exchange this world? What is cholef?
Cholef is like a temporary, transitory world.
Oh, this temporary world that stands until forever.
Well, I mean, that's the ve'ech is halakti ba'olam cholef. How could I have given up, switched to a transitory world, a temporary world, for a world, and given up the world omed la'ad olam, and given up the world which lasts forever. Olam omed la'ad olam, a world that is eternal, lasting forever.
Oh, I see. How can I exchange a temporary world for the permanent world? Eich nim shauti kabehemos nid me see v'halachti acharei yitzri kesus. How can I compare like an animal that is equal and go after my Yetzer Hara like a horse?
Right. Right. Eich nishlamti kibebehemus nidmesi. How have I done this to myself that I become like an animal, a behemoth? Bahalachti achra yitzrei. I've gone after my physical desires, kisus, compared, right? Like I've gone after my physical desires like a horse.
Kefered ein havin v'sa'isi mi derech ha-sochel. Haskel. And how, I'm sorry, and doesn't understand. Pardon?
Right. Like he said, how have I gone after Yitzri? I've gone after my evil, my physical desires, kisus, like a horse, kipperet, like a mule, right? Like a horse, like a mule, kipperet, a parent is a mule, donkey.
That they don't understand errors in the way of intelligence. They have no intelligence. They didn't understand that they're doing something wrong.
Right. So right. They have no understanding. Haskel, that I've turned away from the way of reason, of intelligence. I've turned away from being reasonable.
Ah.
Right, Sisi Miderech Haskel. I've turned away from the path of intelligence, reason.
V'hinei haborei nafach ba'api nishmas chayim chachimas lev v'tovas seichel v'hakiro ule yirah milefanav. And behold, the Creator. What is nafach?
That's the nachak ba'api nishmas chaim. He has breathed into me, right? Nishmas chaim, they're a living soul, right? One second. Right. If you want to take the siddur, look at that bracha Elokai Neshama. You have it in Elokai Neshama. You have a siddur, and that third bracha we say in the morning, Elokai Neshama, Afachta.
Elokai neshama shenasata bi tohorahi. My God, the soul that you have placed within me, it is pure. Ata v'rasa, you created it. Ata yitzarta, you formed it. Ata nifachta bi, you breathed it into me. Vata,
That's the nafachta. You have breathed it into me.
nefachta, to breathe it.
Nafachta, right? And
so that's nafa.
Right, exactly. And if you have a chumash Bereshis nearby, in the first parak Aleph, pasuk no, excuse me, parak, the second parak base, pasuk vav, pasuk zayin, base zayin, parak base, pasuk zayin.
Vayitzer Hashem Elokim es ha'adam afar min ha'adama vayipach be'apav nishmas chayim vayhi ha'adam lenefesh chaya. So Hashem, our God, Hashem God, formed man of dust from the earth, and he blew into his nostrils a living soul. And it was that the man became a living soul.
Right. If you have Rashi there, it's worthwhile looking at the Rashi there. See it.
Okay.
But in the middle it says v'yipach ha'apav. Start with that rather than the beginning of the Rashi.
Vayipach be'apav. He blew into his nostrils. Asa'o. God made man min ha'tachtonos tonim, from the lower realms. Umin ha-elyonim, and from the upper realms. Guf min ha-tachtonim, the body from the lower realms. Uneshama min ha-elyonim, and the soul from the upper realms. The fi she b'yom rishon, because on the first day, Nivra'u Shemaim va'aretz. He created the heaven and the earth. Basheni, on the second day, Bara Rakia, he created it says here the sky. La El Yonim, for the upper realms. Bashlishi, on the third day, Tar Ha Yabasha, let there appear the dry land. The Tachtonim, for the lower realms. Baravi'i, on the fourth day, Bara Me'oros, he created lights. The Elyonim, for the upper realms. The Chamishi, on the fifth day, Yishretu Ha'mayim, let the waters teem. Le Tachtonim, for the lower realms. Whose Kak Bashishi, he needed on the sixth day, Livros Bo, to create on it, Be'el Yonim, for the upper realms, Uvatachtonim, and in the lower realms, Ve'im Lav, for if not, Yesh Kina, there will be jealousy. But Ma'aseh Bereshis, in the work of creation, Sheyu Elu Rabim Al Elu, that in that these would be more than those.
So you see that this Rashi, if you look at this Rashi, the fact that Kadosh Baruch Hu necessitated to make Adam partly from Ruchnius and partly from Gashmius, partly physical and partly spiritual, was to create a balance in the whole creation, right? Because otherwise, as Rashi mentioned, there would be jealousy, that there'd be a disproportional amount of physical matter or spiritual matter over the other. And so Kadosh Baruch Hu, in order to balance the whole work of creation, so he created man with the spiritual element within him. So from this you understand that the balance of the whole work of creation is in the hands of Adam, because to the extent that we balance our physical and spiritual components, meaning we have physical desires and we have spiritual aspirations, and both within the rules and regulations of Kadosh Baruch Hu's Torah, we're told how to fulfill those things. So if we have a balance within us, so that maintains the balance within the whole of the creation. And if we are out of balance, if we're overly physical, right, or to that extent could be overly spiritual as well, but that's not usually the case in most general cases. So if we're going to be out of balance, that's going to create a disruption in the balance that the Kadosh Baruch Hu desired in his work of creation. Right? So therefore, when a person's going to do, as he's speaking here, the Shari Tshuva to us, person's going to be, as he said, giving up a world that is forever and enduring eternally for a temporary world, and he's going to be following after the desires of his Yetzer Hara. So he's making an imbalance in himself. That imbalance is also reflected within an imbalance in the rest of the creation as well.
I'm not too sure if this question is appropriate here or at all. When you say that we can put things out of balance, the world out of balance, all right, I'm just one person. How many people does it make to unbalance the world or unbalance the society or what? And how many,
No, it's a very good question. Matter of fact, the Mesilas Yesharim in the beginning of the Sefer goes into this. Let's see. You have copies of Mesilas Yesharim nearby?
It's in this, isn't it? In the Tanakh.
Path of the Just, right? Path of the Just.
This one, Rabbi?
Yeah, exactly. Very good. If I can try, I can maybe try and find exactly which page. What you have other editions as well? The same edition there.
I don't know where else it is. I've got to look for it.
1 second.
Oh, I think we've got that one, but
Okay,
excuse me. I'll see if I can get
if I can get that copy here. 1 second.
I've got a Mesilas Yesharim, but it's not what you've got.
We'll try and focus on.
That's what I've got.
Let's see. Okay. I think I have that one too. Hold on. Let me see. Let's see here. Right. Right. Okay. In this edition here, if you have this edition, right, then it's on page 19, right? Page 19. And Roy, 1 second, I'll see if I can't. I think I have a copy of that edition as well. Yeah. Hold on. Let me see if I can find the page for you there.
It's in chapter 1, isn't it?
Yes, in chapter 1.
Yes.
I think it's on page 27 in your edition.
Oh.
Not on page 19 in this one?
In 19 in that one, right? In yours, Louis, on page 19, it starts with the words, the Holy One, blessed be He.
Yeah, I see.
Okay. Maybe I think it's probably worthwhile reading it in English for the time being.
Yeah, I've got it.
You have it there. The says there, the Holy One, blessed be He.
Yeah, has set man in a place. Okay.
Yes, very good. That's it. Very good. Okay, yeah, it's worthwhile reading this because this is the same point that we see from the Rashi as well, from a little bit different perspective, but it's basically the same yesod, the same basic principle.
Um,
The Holy One, blessed be He, has put man in a place where the factors which draw him further from the Blessed One are many. These are the earthly desires which, if he is pulled after them, cause him to be drawn further from and to depart from the true good. It is seen then that man is veritably placed in the midst of a raging battle. For all the affairs of the world, whether for the good or for the bad, are trials to a man. Poverty on the one hand and wealth on the other, as Solomon said, lest I become satiated and deny, saying, who is God? Or lest I become impoverished and steal. Serenity on the one hand and suffering on the other, so that the battle rages against him to the fore and to the rear. If he is valorous and victorious on all sides, he will be the whole man, who will succeed in uniting himself with his Creator. And he will leave the corridor to enter into the palace, to glow in the light of life, to the extent that he has subdued his evil inclination and his desires, and withdrawn from those factors which draw him further from the good, and exerted himself to become united with it. To that extent, he will attain and rejoice in it. Biker?
Yeah.
If you look more deeply into the matter, you will see that the world was created for man's use. In truth, man is the center of a great balance.
This is the main point. This is the description of this balance that man has been placed into.
For if he is pulled after the world and is drawn further from his Creator, he is damaged, and he damages the world with him. And if he rules over himself and unites himself with his Creator and uses the world only to aid him in the service of his Creator, he is uplifted, and the world itself is uplifted with him. For all creatures are greatly uplifted when they serve the whole man, who is sanctified with the holiness of the Blessed One. It is as our sages of blessed memory have said in relation to the light that the Holy One, blessed be He, stored away for the righteous. When the Holy One, blessed be He, saw the light that He had stored away for the righteous, He rejoiced, as it is said, the light of the righteous rejoices.
Okay, good. Okay, right. Okay, very nice. Okay, let's stop for a moment there. Now, okay, so now specifically in answer to your question, Roy, meaning what is this something? Is this, as I understood your question? Don't correct me if I'm wrong. Is this in an individual situation, or is this a collective situation? Right. I think that was basically your question, right?
yes, all right, I'll accept that. Yes.
Okay. So if you notice, if you turn to the title, and for this we're gonna have to see the Hebrew. Look at the title of this first chapter. Right? Turn to the time. Let's read it the Hebrew first before you look at the English.
Too late. I've looked at the English. I don't know where's he.
They or klal chovas ha'adam be'olamo.
So now, how would we translate that?
I've got to translate it as man's mission in his world.
Right. Okay. And Lou, how is yours translated?
Oh, but excuse me.
Man's duty in the world.
What?
Concerning man's duty in the world.
Right. So that's not a correct translation.
Yeah.
The translation that Roy has is a correct translation. The one that you have is not a correct translation.
Say
It
it
says,
again, please, Roy.
Man's mission in his world. Who's the his?
right, in his world, right?
Yes.
He said, "Ba'olamo," not ba'olam. It didn't say. He didn't entitle the chapter "Bir klal choivus ha'adam ba'olam," not which would be the obligation of man in the world. No, he said choivus ha'adam ba'olamo, the obligation of a person in his world.
In Hashem's world.
Well, no. In his world, in your
Oh,
world.
in man's world. Uh-huh. Okay.
Right. Each individual has his own world. Now, it's true we share a collective world, we share a collective experience, but in truth, everyone has his own specific, absolute, individual world that he lives in. Now, the miracles of creation, among the many miracles of creation that Kadosh Baruch created, is that each person has his own particular world, his own particular experience that he lives in, and he's obligated personally for the maintenance of that particular experience and world that he lives in. And that also affects the general world as well, right? But primarily, his concern is his actions in the world that he lives in his particular world, in his particular realm of experience. So the answer to your question is, it's really both. It's a combination of his own particular perfection, and that perfection, how it perfects his particular realm of experience, and how that contributes to the general conglomerate experience of the world in general. That's what the Gemara says. The Gemara says when a person does tshuva, right? A person through his koach of tshuva can change the whole din, can change the whole judgment, not only for himself, but he can change the judgment for the whole world as well. That's how strong the connection that one person has to the general judgment. And we're talking about this specifically the judgment that takes place on Rosh Hashanah. That's the Rambam. The Rambam, if I'm not mistaken, Hilchos Tshuva mentions this specifically. If I have a chance, maybe I can maybe find that for tomorrow. Maybe I can even find it now. But a person should not think that the Gemara speaks about this. A person should not think that he is only a individual. To some ways, it's people are working in a corporation, right? So each person has his own particular job. So obviously, the more perfection that each person brings to his mission to fulfill in the conglomerate existence of the corporation, that'll give the corporation more success. And not only that, he'll have personal success as well. Likewise, the whole world in the same way. We each have our own particular missions, our own particular obligations, and Kadosh Baruch Hu has tailor-made each and every person in his own particular realm of existence the things he has to accomplish. And
yeah. And
what you
sorry,
go ahead. Yeah,
I interrupted you. I shouldn't.
okay. Yeah, no, yeah, fine. That's good. It's okay. What did you have to say? Go ahead.
All right. I was going to say we have this a practical example of this, which is an unfortunate example, is that when an individual Jew does something wrong, then he degrades himself, and it reflects on the whole community.
Yes, of course. That's right. This is what the the whole point of there is a concept of lechafskus, that machria lechafskus, that a person, as I mentioned, will tip the scales to the side of being vindicated, meritorious, rather than to be obligated. And that a person has the power individually to do. Again, only Kadosh Baruch Hu puts all these various inputs of each individual's life and behavior, everything he thinks, he says, and he does. Kadosh Baruch Hu puts all these inputs into whatever is necessary for the maintenance of the world as we know it. And Hashem is therefore having the world exist according to what we do. That's the uniqueness of man. Man is given this power because, as that Rashi points out, right? That Rashi mentioned that our creation was, right, to be a balance between the spiritual components of the existence and the physical components of existence, and we're right there in the middle because we've made of both. And as Rashi mentioned, it was to make shalom, that there shouldn't be kina, jealousy, and disruption in the world, in the physical and spiritual existences. The Kadosh Baruch Hu made it that we are of both components, and therefore we have to maintain a proper and an equal balance of that, right? And primarily, the way we do it, it's enough really. In general, it's enough if we just keep to the commandments of the Torah. Kadosh Baruch Hu gave us the Torah, that is our means and the ability to maintain the balance that the Kadosh Baruch Hu wanted that the whole of existence be maintained through our keeping to his Torah and his mitzvahs.
Thank you.
Okay, very good. I guess maybe this is a good time to stop. Yeah, I think so. Maybe we'll stop here. And we'll continue tomorrow, Mr. Show. Okay, we'll start Mr. Brewster in a few moments after a short break. And Roy, you should have a very good afternoon, Mr. Show.
You too, and be well, all of us.
Okay, have a good day, Roy.
Thank you. Bye for now.
See you all soon.